I think there are people making noise outside. Alright. It's a free country, I guess. Yeah, but they're making noise. Alrighty. Friends, how you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Yud Ches, Daf 18 of Masechet Nedarim. Friends, I think we're just going to do like Yud Ches Amud Aleph today, because Yud Ches Amud Beis is like, it's like mostly a Mishnah. And may as well just learn it like tomorrow, and then we can just go weiter onto tomorrow's Daf. I don't know. Friends, I think that's what I'm going to do. So, alright, here we go. Well, so yeah, today we're just basically going weiter on this, like we saw this machlokas between Rav Huna and Shmuel yesterday about Yesh Neder B'Soch Neder. Rav Huna says that it's Zavka talking about when he says Arini Nazir Ayom, Arini Nazir L'Macher, whereas Shmuel says it's even talking about where he says Arini Nazir Ayom, Arini Nazir Ayom. So friends, here we go. Says the Gemara and Daf Yud Zayin Amud Beis, like 6 lines from the bottom or so. Meisvei, we have a kasha. Mishen Nazar Shtei Naziris. Oh, so somebody who took upon himself to be a Nazir twice. Mona is Sarishona, so he counts, right? So he's a Nazir for 30 days, and then he wraps up that Naziris, and then he becomes a Nazir again for another 30 days. V'hifrish, so Mona is Sarishona, so he counted 30 days. V'hifrish Korban, and he already separated his Korban, that is, right, his Korbanis, that, at the end of being a Nazir, you bring 3 Korbanis. So he already separated his Korbanis. V'nishal aleh, but then he annuls the Naziris. He annuls it. Now the thing is that there were 2 Nazirises. So also lo shnia barishona. So now, right, so he had already been a Nazir for 30 days. He was mamish, like he already separated his korbanos. He was mamish done. And then he got his Naziris annulled. So all the 30 days that he did was basically annulled. But he had to be a Nazir again, right? Because he made a double Naziris thing, right? Nazir shtei Naziris. So then the second one that hasn't yet been observed moves into the spot of the first one. So basically the first 30 days that he's already observed can count for the second Naziris. So he annuls the first Naziris, and then the second one can count, or what he's observed for the first one can count for the second one. Hey Chidami, now what's the case of the double Naziris? If it's talking about, like Rav Huna says, that he says, I'm going to be a Nazir today, I'm going to be a Nazir tomorrow, well then, amai also lo shnia barishona. Well then, how, in this case, does the 30 days that he observed for the first Naziris count for the second one? Ha'ika yom yisera. There's the extra day in the second Naziris. Right? The second Naziris begins, right, on day 2 of the first Naziris, and then continues for an extra day after the first Naziris. So how could it be that the second, right, that what he's already observed counts as the second Naziris? So Elo, Pshita Da'amar Reini Nazir Ayom, Reini Nazir Ayom. Rather, it must be talking about where he says, I'm going to be a Nazir today, I'm going to be a Nazir today, where he says the same thing twice, and it's like Shmuel, that it still counts, right? He's going to be a Nazir, right? It's a good neder. And therefore, what he's already observed counts for the second Naziris. V'tuv to Rav Huna, it's a kasha, Rav Huna, lo, no. La'olam Reini Nazir Ayom, Reini Nazir L'macher. No, really, Rav Huna is going to stick to his guns and say that the Mishnah is talking, right, this Bryce is talking about where he says, I'm going to be a Nazir today, I'm going to be a Nazir tomorrow. Umay also lo, and what does it mean that what he's already observed for the first Naziris will count for the second Naziris? Levar me'ahu yoma yisera, with the exclusion of the extra day. Meaning what he's already counted for the first Naziris can count for the second Naziris as far as it's going to go, but the extra day is not going to be covered. He's going to still have to observe that. Alternatively, even Rav Huna would admit that if he accepted a double Naziris at once, meaning instead of saying, he didn't say Arini Nazir Ayom, Arini Nazir Ayom, but he accepted to be both Nazirises at the same time. So in that case, if he gets a Atara if he annuls the first one, so then what he's observed so far for the first one can count for the second one. Alright? Masir Rav Amnuna Asakasha. Nazir Lahazir. The Pasuk says, Nazir Lahazir, Mikansha Nazirus Chalal Nazirus. So we learn from there that you can have a double Nazirus. Shiyachov Aludinu, because I may have thought to say, Mashvui Chamurya, that if a vow is more stringent, if an oath is more stringent than a vow, ein shvueh chala al shvueh, and yet even though oaths are more stringent, you can't have one oath on another oath, right? You can't double oath. Nazirus kala, well then Nazirus, which is a vow which is not as stringent as an oath, lo kol shekain, I would think certainly then you can't double up vows. Talmud lomar, nazir lahazir, mikansha nazirus chala al nazirus. So we learn that you can have a double nazirus. Hey chidami. Now what's the deal with this double nazirus? If it's talking about where he says that I am going to be a nazir today, I'm going to be a nazir tomorrow, hakra baya, why would I need a pasuk to teach me this? Of course, I mean he's adding something right there. It's a separate nazirus. I don't need a pasuk to say nazir lahazir. Rather, it must be talking about where he says that he's going to be a nazir today, and then he says it again, and we're saying nazir lahazir that it counts. V'katan nazirus chal nazirus, and we see that you can have a nazirus on top of another nazirus. Lo hachab ma'askinin kagon shekibel olav shtei nazirus b'vasa achas. No, it's talking about where he accepted both naziruses at once, but not one after the other, and that is why it works. Okay, fine. But Rav Huna would argue that if he says Harini Nazir Hayom or Nazir Hayom, that would not work. Umay Chomer de Shvua min Neder. Now, what does it mean that an oath is more stringent than a vow? If you're going to say, well, because an oath works even for davar shein bo mamish, right? You can make an oath. If you make an oath that you're not going to sleep, so that works. So neder nami chomer. You could say that a vow is also stringent. Shekein chol ala mitzvah kirshus. That you can apply a vow to a mitzvah, right? As we say, if you're not going to get any benefit from the sukkah, or you're not going to, be sitting in the sukkah, or like sitting in the sukkah is also to you, so it applies. So how can you say that oaths are more stringent than vows because they apply to things that are intangible? Vows are more stringent than oaths at the same time because they apply to mitzvahs. Because it says by shvueh, by an oath, lo yunaket, that it cannot be wiped clean, and therefore that is why oaths are more stringent than vows. Now continue the Mishnah. Shvuah la'ochal, shvuah la'ochal. If a fellow makes two shvuahs that he's not going to eat pizza, einu chayav ela'achas, he's only going to be chayav once. So Amar Rava says, Rava im nishal al rishona. But if he so if he says he makes an oath that he's not going to eat pizza, then he makes another oath that he's not going to eat pizza, so then he's only chayav, right? And then he eats pizza, so he's only chayav once. But if he sort of gets the first oath annulled, shniya chala olav, so then the second one is still there. Let's go back for a second. Mimai, how do we know this? Midei lo katani eino ela achas, v'katani eino chayav ela achas. Right, so from the fact that the Mishnah says that, right, if he says he's not going to eat pizza, he makes an oath that he's not going to eat pizza, then he makes another oath he's not going to eat pizza, and then he eats pizza, so he's only chayav once. It doesn't say that it's only one oath. It doesn't say that. It says he's only liable once. But there are two oaths, just that we only act upon, he's only punished for one of them. But if he gets a hatara for one of the oaths, well then there's still going to be the second oath. Says the Gemara, Ravcha hu de leisle, Leisla, the writers, meaning when he says he's not going to eat pizza, he makes an oath that he's not going to eat pizza. Then he makes another oath that he's not going to eat pizza. So we say Ravcha hu de Leisla. Okay, so there's no space for that second oath because you can't make an oath on an oath, and therefore you're not going to be punished for the second one, only for the first one. But ki mitchel al chaverta. But if he gets the first one annulled, well then chayla. Well then the second oath moves in, and he would be chayiv for that. Lishna Achrina, another way to explain this, Chiyuva udeleka hashvua ika, right? That when the Mishnah says shvua shlocha v'ochal enu chayav ela'achas, so we say Chiyuva udeleka. Okay, he's only going to be chayav once, not twice. Hashvua ika, but it's still a valid shvua. You just can't get punished for it. The second one. L'mayach. So what's the nafkamina? The Chidrava, the Amarava that says Rava nishal al rishona also lo shniya tachtea, that if he if the first oath gets annulled, so then then there's still the second one, and you get in trouble if you eat pizza. Let's say that this supports Ravim. You should understand Nazirus, that if somebody makes 2 Naziruses, Umanas Arishona, and then he can't, so he says he's going to be a Nazir twice, and then he was a Nazir once already for 30 days, V'ifresh Korban, and he sets aside a Korban, V'nishal Aleh, and then after already setting aside the Korban, he annulled the first Nazirus, also Lo Shneir Barishona, so the second one works, right, meaning the 30 days that he's already done counts as the second Nazirus. So let's say that that's just like this case when he makes an oath against eating pizza, then he makes another oath against eating pizza, and he gets the first oath annulled, so then the second oath is relevant. So we say, no, it's not necessarily, right, the Nazirus isn't necessarily a proof for the support for the oaths. For example, if he accepts, right, we could say that the Nazirus is talking about where he accepted it at once, both Naziruses, whereas the oaths, it's one after the other. He's saying he's not going to eat pizza, and then he's saying again he's not going to eat pizza. Friends, that was the Yud Ches of Masechta Nedarim. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.